found letters on the beach, and they were all addressed to me. I've walked this same beach 1,000 times. It's always empty. Just me, the waves, and the gulls. It's my sanctuary. But today was different. Today, the sea gave me something. Tangled in seaweed and half buried in the sand was a dark leather satchel. It looked ancient, and it felt heavy, like it was filled with secrets. My heart was pounding as I dragged it away from the tide. Inside were letters. Dozens of them, tied in twine, the paper stained with salt. My blood ran cold when I saw the name on the top envelope, written in a faded, elegant script. It was my name, and the very first one I opened revealed a secret my family has been hiding for generations. Section 1. The Discovery. There's a rhythm to this place. The tide comes in, it goes out. It wipes the slate clean. That's why I've always come here. It's a place without a past. Or, at least, that's what I thought. The satchel was made of thick, cracked leather, the kind that was built to last. The buckle was rusted almost completely shut, and my fingers were trembling as I pried it open with a piece of driftwood. A smell hit me right away. Not rot, but old paper, dried ink, and the deep, briny smell of the ocean. It smelled like a memory. Inside, they were stacked so neatly, a lifetime of letters, and on every single one, my name, my full name. It made absolutely no sense. I've lived in this tiny, quiet town my whole life. My family, well, they're simple. My dad was a postman, and my mom was a librarian. We weren't the kind of people with some dramatic, mysterious past. We were the exact opposite of that. I pulled out the first bundle. The twine basically crumbled in my hands. The top letter was dated 30 years ago, just a week after I was born. My hands were shaking so hard, I could barely unfold the paper. I felt like an intruder, like I was trespassing in a story I never even knew I was a part of. And sitting there on the cold sand, I began to read. Section 2. The first letter. The handwriting was beautiful, a looping cursive that seemed both careful and rushed at the same time. It wasn't my mother's handwriting. I'd know her neat, blocky print anywhere. This was from a total stranger. It started with 3 words. My dearest granddaughter. I stopped. I had to read it again. Granddaughter. That's impossible. Both of my grandmothers died long before I was born. My parents always talked about them with this sad finality. There were no stories, just a couple of old, formal photos on the mantelpiece. This letter felt like a ghost whispering right in my ear. Let me read you a part of it. This is what it said. If you are reading this, it means the sea has finally delivered my words to you, and I am likely long gone. I hope with all my heart that you have grown up safe. I hope you have been loved. Know that you were born from a great love, a love that your family, my family, tried to extinguish. They could not bear the union of our 2 houses. The scandal was too great. Sending you away was the only way to protect you. It broke your mother's heart, but she did it to give you a life, any life, away from us. It went on, but my head was just spinning. 2 houses, a scandal, my quiet, unassuming parents. This had to be some kind of cruel joke. But then the letter mentioned details. It mentioned the small crescent-shaped birthmark on my shoulder. It described a lullaby my mom used to hum, a tune I haven't heard since I was a little kid. This letter wasn't a mistake. It was for me. And it was written by a grandmother I never knew I had. My whole life, everything I understood about my family, it all suddenly felt like a house of cards, and the wind was picking up. Who was this woman, and what kind of scandal was she talking about? Section 3. A hidden history. Unravels. I couldn't stay on the beach. I just grabbed the satchel and ran home. The letters felt like a lead weight. I spread them out all over my living room floor. trying to piece together a puzzle without knowing what the final picture was supposed to be. The letters spanned 2 decades, a slow, painful story of a life I was supposed to have. They were all from the same woman, my grandmother, Eleonora. Letter by letter, she built this picture of a world I couldn't even recognize. She wrote about a family called the Blackwoods, a name that meant nothing to me. She described a huge coastal estate, generations of wealth, and a rigid, unforgiving patriarch, my great-grandfather. According to her letters, the Blackwoods were basically royalty in their world, and they had a bitter, decades-long feud with another family, the Havenswoods. The source of the feud was ancient history, but the hatred was still very real. And then I found the letter that laid it all out. My mother, raised a Blackwood, had fallen in love. And not with just anyone. She'd fallen in love with a Havenswood, my father. My parents weren't the quiet librarian and the gentle postman I knew. Their story was one of forbidden love, of secret meetings and stolen moments. When my mother got pregnant with me, both families were furious. My very existence was a betrayal, a bridge between 2 warring houses that neither side wanted. My great-grandfather gave my mother an ultimatum: give up the child or be cast out forever, with the family's wrath following her. The letters mentioned threats, real danger. So my mother chose me. She and my father ran. They changed their names, erased their pasts, and became the simple, ordinary people I grew up with. They hid in plain sight, praying those families would never find them and never find me. I had to stop reading. I just stood up and walked to the window, staring out at the street. Everything looked exactly the same, but nothing was. It was too much. But there was one letter at the very bottom of the satchel that felt different. The paper was thicker, the envelope a stark white. It looked newer. I just knew the final answer had to be in there. Before I open it, if you have ever uncovered a family secret that changed everything for you, I want to hear about it. Subscribe and stick around, because this story is far from over. Section 4, the climax, the final letter. This letter wasn't from Eleonora. The handwriting was familiar. It was my mother's. It was dated just a few months before she died from what I was always told was a sudden illness. Her hand was shaky, the words fighting to stay on the line. This was her confession, her final words to me. She wrote, "My darling daughter, if you are reading this, it means my greatest fear has come true, and the past has found us. I have kept this satchel of your grandmother's letters hidden for 30 years. I made a promise to an old fisherman, a kind soul who owed our family a favor. He was to keep it safe. If I ever missed our yearly check-in, he was to take the satchel to the sea and let it go. A final message in a bottle, a prayer that it would find its way to you on the beach you love so much." She explained her illness wasn't sudden at all. She'd been hiding it, but she also wrote about fear. In the weeks before she died, she thought she'd seen someone from her old life in town. A car she didn't recognize, parked at the end of our street. She wasn't sure if it was paranoia from her sickness or something more. She was terrified the Blackwoods had finally found her. Her letter was a plea and a warning. It confirmed everything Eleonora wrote: the feud, the forbidden love, the danger I was born into. She begged me for forgiveness for the lies, for giving me a simple life that was really a cage to protect me. She wrote that she and my father never stopped loving me, and that their quiet life was the greatest gift they could give me. A normal childhood, free from the darkness of their legacies. And the last line, scrawled at the bottom, just shattered me. They will never stop looking for the child that links the 2 families. Live a good life, live a long life, and do not ever go looking for them. Section 5, the aftermath. My mother's letter didn't feel like a confession. It felt like a final goodbye. In that one moment, my entire childhood snapped into a new focus. Every quiet birthday, every simple holiday, every time my parents told me our little family was all we needed. It wasn't because they were simple. It was a deliberate act of protection. It was a fortress built out of normalcy. I walked over to the mantle and picked up the photograph of my mother. I had always just seen a quiet, gentle woman. Now I saw a warrior, a woman who defied a powerful family, ran from her home, and lived every single day with a secret that could have destroyed us, all to keep me safe. Her life wasn't small, it was immense. And my father, the cheerful postman who knew everyone's name, was a man who walked away from his own legacy for her. Their love story wasn't a simple romance, it was an epic, and I was the result. Conclusion. That beach, the place I always went for peace, has become something else now. It's no longer a clean slate. It's a place of memory, of connection. It's where my mother and my grandmother sent their last hopes out into the world, praying they would find me. The tide brought me the truth. My whole world is upside down. I'm the daughter of a postman and a librarian, but I'm also the heir to a legacy of power, wealth, and a feud that tore my family apart. My mother's last words were a warning. Do not go looking for them. But now that I know everything, I have to ask myself, do I honor my mother's wish and live this quiet life? Or do I go looking for the family that she ran from? What would you do? Let me know in the comments. And if you have a story about a message that found its way to you against all odds, I would love to read it.